I'm NDTV Sports Director Vince Welch. Welcome to Bob Knight Wired, the sights and sounds of an IU basketball practice. You know, basketball practice is closed to fans, but just for you tonight, we'll unlock the door. Welcome back to Assembly Hall, where the thousands of hours of practice have laid the foundation for the championship banners that hang here for the IU basketball program. And Coach, as we get ready to watch a condensed version of practice over the course of the next hour, has practice changed much for IU over the 25 years you've been here?
Well, not really, Vince. I'm sure that we do things a little bit differently from the standpoint of structure of drills. Maybe we play a little bit more full court. We had about the second or the third year, maybe, no, it had to be about the third year that I was here. I'd always been a real half-court coach. We worked on half-court offense, half-court defense, and we started out the season, and we had some really close, low-scoring games that I didn't think we should have had. And we came back and we started to add what I call conversion, going from half-court offense back down the floor and then setting it up at the other end. Because what I did for years when I was coaching at West Point in the first few years here, we'd just bring the ball in from where we're sitting at midcourt, run our offense, and bring it back out, just repeat, repeat, repeat. And I think one of the most important tools in teaching and learning is repetition. But the game that goes from offense to defense, or from defense to offense, as I said, what we call conversion, is maybe the most important thing of basketball. So in that particular season years ago, we felt that we weren't getting from one end to the other, particularly getting from defense to offense. And we spent an entire week really working on it and came back and played very well. That's probably the biggest change of significance that we've had in practice structure during all the time that I've been here. We try to do various things every night. There are some things that we do every night, but maybe we go about them in a little bit different way. It was kind of interesting a couple of years ago when the NCAA brought about the institution of two new rules. One being that you had to have a day off every week. The players had to have one day off practice or play, and that continues on through the playing season. The other was a maximum of 4 hours a day with the players involved with the sport, in this case obviously basketball, or 20 hours a week. And everybody thinks that we must do nothing but practice, that we must practice, practice, practice. Well, when those two rules were adopted and put in the NCAA rule book, I received calls from coaches all over the country wanting to know, well, how are you going to handle this? How are you going to change your practice format? What are you going to do? Well, we didn't have to change a thing. We had always given our players a day off, and sometimes more than a day off during the course of any week. Rarely did we ever have the players out here total over 2.5 hours, which times 6 just totals 15 hours a week, which put us well under the 20-hour limit. So our practice structure until those rules came in remained essentially the same as we've had after the rules. You see how quick those hands were?
You've been working on that. Haven't lost it.
I don't need to work on it. Just haven't lost it. So practice has always been the key to me in what kind of a team we're going to have. This practice that we have in October and November, these practices determine the beginning of our season, the foundation of our team. And then as we get into December and January and February, our practice is divided probably 60-40 between working on what we do and working on what our opponent does, or working against what our opponent does. But the practice that we're going to look at today, or the parts of practice that you've put together for this show, have us working exclusively on our own play, our defensive play, our offensive play. I think that everyone will notice that when we're working on offense, or when I might make a comment on offense, we're still working on defense. When we're working on defense, we're still working on offense. We don't just work on one part of our game and not the other. We try to get a carryover, probably maybe more than anything that I do, or maybe more than anybody that coaches, talks about mistakes that we make. I talk about having thrown the ball away, not setting a screen. What I want is perfection, knowing in the back of my mind that we'll never get it.
When we come back, the sights and sounds of IU basketball practice with the coach, Bob Knight.